Good morning, this is Shindo. A couple of days ago, the stock market, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, fell 240 points, which was the single most daily loss since Trump was elected president. Now, there's going to be lots of different factors that they're going to tell you why the Dow Jones seems to be moving now into a bear market. If you think that this doesn't affect you because you don't have any stocks, think again. The stock market is in a bubble. It has been for really years. It really has been in a bubble since they never really fixed the problem that caused the stock market to slide back in 2008. You may think that this isn't quite as sexy and as interesting as war, for instance, other things that might catch my attention in the news, but it's much, much more significant. Economic hardship is what leads eventually to war. All you have to do is look at Germany before World War II. And I was told several years ago that the economic collapse would happen before the war. Now, I don't know that this is the beginning of this economic collapse, but I do know it's going to happen, and it's going to happen sooner than later. This is from Barron's. You will find a link in the description box, as you always will on my videos. You will always find a link in the description box of the articles from which I read. Divided we fall. Dow tumbles 240 points as TrumpCare turmoil feeds growth fears. Stocks tumbled to their worst loss of the year today, and it is hard to point the finger at any one factor for the decline, although if you force me, I'll choose the chaos in Washington over TrumpCare. Boy, do I hear that word chaos more often in the news. I've heard it more often in the news in the past 6 months than I have in my entire life before. The S&P 500 dropped 1.2% to 2,344 today, its largest one-drop decline since October 2016. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 237 points, or 1.1%, to 20,668, its largest decline since September 2015. The Nasdaq Composite tumbled 1.8% to 5,793.83, its largest drop since September 2016. If I had to pinpoint a reason for the decline, I'd have to say that it is a comedy of errors that the attempt to pass President Donald J. Trump's health care bill has become. The reason health care passage has to happen before the rest of President Donald Trump's agenda can be passed. Strategies Research Partners Daniel Clifton and team explain, if the House successfully passes the measure on Thursday, today, it will show that Trump can close the deal with House members in a way that John Boehner and Paul Ryan could not. Keep in mind that will only be the first step. The Senate is more divided about the structure of the ACA replacement and will likely have to produce a different legislation. We assign a 60% probability the measure will clear the House on Thursday. Our sense is that if the votes are not present, Ryan will not force a vote. But if he fails on the House floor, investors will likely extrapolate the growth agenda is in trouble. Now, folks, I have commented on this, and they're referring to it as President Donald Trump's health care bill. It's not President Trump's health care bill. It's Paul Ryan's health care bill. I mean, besides the obvious that, in case you didn't know this, the President of the United States cannot sponsor a bill. I mean, he, of course, if he wants something passed, he could get someone to sponsor it. But this isn't his bill in the sense that he created it. It's Paul Ryan's. It's Paul Ryan's. As I have discussed before, I still believe that Trump wants this bill to fail. They want it to fail. They want the stock market to start to collapse so that they look towards him for, again, the super savior that so many people seem to believe he is. S&P Dow Jones indices Howard Silverblatt claimed the market's tumble, quote, had to eventually happen. He explains. Yeah. The market finally declined 1% after a 161-day break from October 11th, 2016. We'll need the final to see if it's more than the 1.2% October 11 decline. The absence ranked number 8. Actually, it was tied for 8 on the longevity scale from 1928. From that day, the market is up 9%, with financials up 20% and energy down 2%. Well, there you go. As the oil prices go down, the stock market goes down. That we have seen for some time. And eventually it did. Bespoke Investment Group looked at what happened after 11 previous streaks of 100 days or more with a 1% drop ended. Notably, the S&P has historically bounced back quickly once the streak comes to an end. The index has averaged a gain of 0.65% in the week after the 1% down day, with the gains 8 out of 11 times. Over the next month, the index has averaged a gain of 2.34 with the gains of 9 out of 11 times, and over the next 3 months, index averaged a gain of 2.44% with gains 8 out of 11 times. Let's hope for a repeat. Well, yesterday the stock market was basically flat, so they didn't get a repeat yesterday, and since they're seeming to tie everything to this bill, this healthcare bill being passed, it's not going to pass today. I mean, that's what everybody indicates. I'm just repeating that. I'm not making a prophecy here. I don't think it's going to pass. And I think that's exactly what Donald Trump wants. And what we're going to see over the course of the next few months, I'm going to say months and not years, months, is the stock market to finally start putting itself in a balance place. It's going to start losing all of these gains, because these gains are nothing but smoke and mirrors, and the volume of the stock market, as far as people actually buying stocks, I mean individuals, as opposed to just very small amount, just a few people or even the government buying up stock. Several months ago, I watched a YouTube channel, Greg Manarino, and he was discussing how several months ago the banks actually received a bailout in the form of the government buying bank stock. So this is all just a big show when it comes to the stock market bubble going on. It's not for real. It's not as though individuals are investing in companies out there. It's the government, and it's a very small minority of people who are big investors. It's not just like everybody feels so much hope in our economy. And we're in such a tenuous position to begin with that people are just grabbing, and I'm talking about people in the stock market, are grabbing at whatever they can, and they see Donald Trump as pro-big business. Therefore, he's the rally for the past 3 months. That's why. But this will happen, and it will happen sooner rather than later. The stock market will start to really, really decline, to slide. And when that happens, realize that what's going to happen next is the only thing that they can do to try to shore up what power they still have, and that is war. So that's what you're going to see over the course of the next few months. And then you're going to see us at the brink of war, as I've discussed many times, and then the great savior on the white horse, Donald Trump, coming in and bringing peace and prosperity, peace and safety. And when they say that, when you hear peace and safety, and everybody just taking a deep breath and saying it's all over, folks, that's when it's really going to get bad. This is Shindo. Have a good Thursday.